my favorite little golden book from when I was a kiddo. And you might remember those little golden books, and they had the gold on the side. It was really awesome. And this one is The Marvelous Merry-Go-Round. It was by Jane Werner, and the pictures, which you're going to see, are by J.P. Miller. Very cool. The Marvelous Merry-Go-Round. There once was a little boy named Tommy Allen who loved to ride on merry-go-rounds. He even made himself a song about them, and he sang it every day. This was his song. Someday I'll get me a merry-go-round with a musical middle machine and a beautiful canopy over the top that is patterned in purple and green. I'll be the man with the flashing white smile and the shirt sleeves rolled up and no tie. I will jump up and on as the platform goes round and the animals all hurry by. What a surprise for the children who come, for they'll find when they finally arrive, instead of wood horses, some gay kangaroos, and camels, and llamas, and zebras, and moose. And of course they will all be alive. Yes, of course, they will all be alive. Whenever grown-ups asked, "And what are you going to be when you grow up?" the other children would say, "A fireman, or a policeman, or a streetcar conductor." But not Tommy. "I'm going to have me a merry-go-round," Tommy always said. "And what's more," he added, half to himself, "the animals will all be alive." Now, through the years, Tommy Allen stuck to the merry-go-round. All the other children switched from wanting to be firemen and policemen to airline pilots, candy store owners, and cowboys. And as time went by, a lot of them grew up to find that they had turned into businessmen and lawyers and doctors instead of what they really wanted to be. But not Tommy Allen. The very morning Tommy was grown up, he went out and bought a merry-go-round. Yes, sir, a merry-go-round with a musical middle machine and a beautiful canopy over the top that was patterned in purple and green. But even that was not enough for Tommy. "None of these wooden animals for me," said Tommy. "On my merry-go-round, they must all be alive. Yes, of course, they will all be alive." So Tommy Allen went down to the zoo, and he bought all the beasts he would need. "Now," said Tommy Allen, when he had shown them all to their places on the merry-go-round, "this is something like it." And as he turned the switch to start the machine, Tommy was cheerfully whistling his old tune. "What a surprise it will be for the children who come," Tommy whistled. The surprise, alas, was for Tommy. The children were delighted with the merry-go-round. But when children go someplace, grown-ups, you know, almost always insist on being taken along. And the grown-ups were horrified. For the giraffe could not resist nibbling at the fruit and the flowers on the ladies' hats, though he found the flavor very disappointing. And the camel grinned an evil grin, as only a camel can, whenever a grown-up came near. Then, when the moose gave a great moose bellow, just a way of welcome, that was the finish. With little screams, squawks, and cries, the grown-ups whisked all those children away. And there was Tommy Allen, with his very wonderful merry-go-round, and all the real live animals, and not a soul to ride. Not a single child was permitted to come back, though Tommy played all the prettiest tunes on his music machine, and the animals were on their best behavior. "Oh, me," sighed Tommy gloomily as he sat with his head in his hands. "This is no fun at all." "We will move to another town," said Tommy at last, looking firm. "We will try again." So they went away. And morning found Tommy and his merry-go-round in the next town. The animals had just taken their places when the children began to arrive, and with their grown-ups, of course, following close behind. "Now, we must be on our best behavior," Tommy whispered to the animals. So they all tucked back their ears and put on their widest smiles, and all went well until... "My," said one lady to the lady beside her, "the coat on that zebra looks so real you would almost think it was alive, wouldn't you?" And she pinched the zebra. Well, he jumped, naturally enough, and gave a startled whinny. And the camel bared his yellow teeth and made an ugly sound. And the hippopotamus grunted a grunt that came right up from his toes. And that was the finish again. Quick as scat, off went those grown-ups, hustling the children before them. And Tommy and his animals were left alone again. Not a child came back for a single ride, though Tommy and the animals waited all day. So that night, they moved to the next town. "This is our last chance," said Tommy. "We'll make the grown-ups think you are wooden animals." "Oh, the children will still know you are real," Tommy promised them. But the animals could not help wondering. The animals looked sad as Tommy gave them all a coat of shiny wood-type paint. They did not have long to worry, though, for the shiny paint was no more than dry when along came the children, bringing their grown-ups behind them. "What a charming merry-go-round," said all the grown-ups as they lifted their smallest children onto the hippopotamus's lovely wide back. "What interesting wooden animals! How very unusual," they said. "Isn't it quaint?" The animals all stood like chunks of wood, but the children understood at once. "They're alive," they whispered under the cover of the tinkling tunes from Tommy Allen's music machine. "How wonderful." And they fondly patted the animals' heads and spoke to them as they rode. The animals flicked their ears ever so softly to show that they had heard, and that they smiled with their big round eyes. The grown-ups never guessed, though. So now Tommy Allen's troubles had ended. Each day, more children came to ride on his wonderful merry-go-round as Tommy and his animals moved from city to village to town. And the grown-ups look at the animals and say, "How charming! How quaint!" But the children know. Yes, of course they do. The children know they're alive.